When I turned 9 years old, my parents took me to New York City for the first time. It was my first time in a big city, and important enough to me that I still think about it today. I absolutely loved it there, and for some unexplainable reason, I felt more alive there than I had anywhere else before. I never stopped wanting to be in the city after that either, so when it came time to decide where to go to school 10 years later, my eyes were already on the cities of the East Coast.
If I do this, can you see me on the screen? If I look right there, can you see up at City Hall? Okay.
I know who that girl is.
I'm just curious.
I ended up at a small school outside of downtown Philadelphia, and although I was closer to living in the city than I had ever been before, it still wasn't the big city experience I was really wanting. So when I decided to study abroad in Copenhagen, I saw it as my big chance to see what living in a city is really like. It didn't take me long to realize that living in a European city is very different from living in one in America. There are a lot of intercultural differences, and sometimes I feel like more of a tourist than anything. So to get the true local experience, I set out on a mission to find ways to become a true Copenhagen local. These are my 5 steps on how not to be a foreigner. The easiest way to pick an American, or any foreigner out of the crowd, is to just look for what they wear. To be perceived as a true local, you have to dress like one first. Style is a way to say who you are without having to be seen, and that's never been more true than it is now for me. When I was packing for Copenhagen, I didn't have a lot of luggage space, so I brought as much black, gray, and white as possible. Muted colors seemed like the safest, most Euro thing to do. I was right. Step 2. Once you've decided what to wear, there is the challenge of getting around. Copenhagen is pretty easy in that sense. You can take the bus, but it could be late and you might end up sitting next to some weird people. There's also the train, which has the same issues, and you have to pay for that as well. But that's still a local way to do things. But to be a true local, you should bike as much as possible. It's a fun way to do things, you probably look good doing it, and it's cheap. But you will assume some risk. Then there's a matter of knowing where to go and how the hell to get there, which brings me to step 3, navigation.
Long story short, we're lost.
I'm bad at this regardless of the city, and Copenhagen has been no exception. The Danes arranged the streets like a ball of tangled yarn. They're twisty and very complicated at first. The best thing to do is to just live here like I do and sort of just trial and error your way through the city, or just ask an actual local for directions. This brings me to step 4, language, or just communication in general. People know I'm American the second I open my mouth.
Gorlomi? Lo pronuncio correttamente?
Sì, corretto.
Gorlomi? Per cortesia, me lo ripeti ancora.
Gorlami.
In fact, it's best to accept everything that you cannot change about yourself. Step 5, be yourself. If these 6 weeks abroad have taught me one thing, it's the futility of disguise, and I've realized that there is no shame in being American, or not being from a city. I still have dreams of living in the city, living out what is hopefully my best life someday, and I've gotten a taste of that here, just as I did during my first time in New York, 10 years ago. But in the end, I am still not a local city boy. I'm a tourist, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Don't fake it until you make it. Learn from the locals, don't try to be one, and accept that you are, indeed, a foreigner.